So you want to master the art of football and you want to do it fast. Well, I've got you. Because I've been playing football for 11 years now and I've done it in 4 different countries. When I was younger, progress came slow to me, and it wasn't because I was lazy or not focused, but because I didn't know how to learn. And once I did figure out how to learn, it was as if I had found a loophole that just breaks all barriers. I went from being a substitute to trialing in 2 different countries in a single year. Now, before we even touch on how to learn, you first need to know what learning even feels like. Because if you don't, no tip in the world is going to help you because you won't know if you're actually doing it right. Most players think that learning is easy, and this is because when they watch a tutorial on YouTube, they think that when they step out to try the skill, they can get it done in the first try. And that is only because the person in the video demonstrating the skill makes it look easy. But what they don't realize is that the only reason the person demonstrating the skill can make it look easy is because they have gone through hundreds and hundreds of hours of perfecting it, and they will never get to see the work that actually went into it. Learning is supposed to feel hard. When you're genuinely learning, you will struggle. It's only once you've gotten the hang of it and you're repeating the skill pattern to master the execution that is when it starts to feel effortless. So if you want to know whether or not you're learning, measure it by the amount of struggle that you're actually going through. Now, the first lesson is one that I've realized players at the highest level always rely on, and the best way to explain this is through chess grandmasters. An amazing research was done in 1970 where chess grandmasters and ordinary people were put to the test. They were presented with 2 boards of 25 chess pieces and had to recall as many pieces as possible. On the first board, the chess pieces were arranged as if you would find them in a match. On the second board, the pieces were arranged in a random order, and you wouldn't necessarily see that in a real game. The chess grandmasters were able to recall 24 out of 25 pieces on the first board, and the ordinary people were only able to recall about 4 pieces. Now, on the second board, the ordinary people were still able to only recall 4 pieces, but this time the chess grandmasters were also only able to recall 6 pieces. Now, the grandmasters didn't all of a sudden lose their ability to recall the chess pieces, but something a lot more interesting was discovered during the experiment. The grandmasters were relying on their ability to recognize patterns, and therefore they were able to recall a lot of pieces on the first board. Because the pieces were arranged in such a way that they would apply in a real game, the chess grandmasters weren't actually recalling 25 individual pieces, but rather 5 patterns of 5 pieces each. On the second board, the pieces were not arranged in a way that you would find them in a real game, and therefore the chess grandmasters couldn't make sense of it and they were only able to recall 6. But the question is, how do you apply this in football? Well, here's an example. Now in this clip, I am on the wing. As the pass is made into this player, before she even receives it, I'm already looking to make a run into this space. As she turns and picks her head up, you see me here raising my hand asking for the ball. I actually wanted it in this space, but since the pass was short, I hold my run and make a scan here. I see that my teammate here is in space, so I play a first time ball into her path. Now all the decisions that I made here are based on patterns. When your teammate is about to receive the ball in midfield and she's open, she has a chance of playing it long. There was space on the wing and therefore I could ask for a long ball because there would be green area to run into. I decided to pass the ball the first time because with that one pass it was now 2v1. And no, I wasn't consciously thinking about all of this because once you get used to it, these patterns are embedded in your head and they happen subconsciously. Now the second strategy is so powerful it will exponentiate your progress, but so many players overlook this. Most of the time, when players set out to learn a new skill, this is what their process looks like. They hop on YouTube and they look for a tutorial. Then, after watching videos for about an hour, they think that they have gathered all the information they need to actually execute the skill. So, they step outside to perform the skill like they've seen it on the tube, but they can't seem to pull it off. They do it 2 times, 3 times. If they are a bit more persistent, they do it 6 times. And after not being able to do it, they call it quits. And they keep repeating this process with all the other skills without actually learning anything. Instead, if they were to just adopt this method, they would pick it up really, really easily. And the way you do it is to do the skill so slowly that you cannot mess it up. If you're learning how to dribble, you have to move at a pace that feels like a walk to you. If you're passing the ball against the wall, make sure you're not slamming the ball against the wall. And then you do it at that speed over and over until you can't mess it up. Once you've mastered that, then you increase the speed slightly and you repeat the process. Now, most players stop here when they feel that they can do the skill at a decent pace. But here's the catch. If you really want to master the skill, make sure you test it out in trainings or in actual matches. The feedback that you will get from trying it out in real time is no match to any other. Now, this third lesson will accelerate your learning, and I wish I had learned this sooner. It is counterintuitive to what we know as athletes, but ignoring this will cost you months of progress. As players, when we are training or playing, we want to give our best. And as someone who has gone to trials in so many different countries now, I have seen so many different kinds of players at those trials. But one type of player that I see time and time again is the one that refuses to take a break during the water break. I don't know if you've noticed this, but the coach would announce a water break, and most of the players would step away from the pitch to take a sip of water. But there will always be one or two players that refuse to step off the pitch and drink some water, and they would keep kicking the ball. And you would think that it's good that they're not taking a break. Maybe they're not tired and therefore they don't need a break. And plus, they're showing the coaches that they are willing to work harder than everyone else. But the truth is, if you really want to solidify your learnings, you have to take a break in between the drill. And not just take a break, but while you're at it, make sure you try your best to not think about the drill that you were doing before. Your brain doesn't actually solidify the information when you're doing the drill. It solidifies the information when you are taking the break. You need to step away from the drill to allow your brain to actually make those connections and make sense of what you were doing. So the next time the coach announces a break, make sure you go take a sip of water. Now, if you enjoyed that and you want to learn how to get ahead of 99% of players, check out this video. Thank you for watching. I hope you've gained something valuable from this video.